I will always remember. Yesterday, it was just another morning, but I had no idea that my nephew would surprise me in a way I could never have imagined. I chose to make breakfast that morning. The sun was shining in through the window and I felt great. I thought nothing could go wrong. That kind of morning when everything seems to be fine, I got up, brushed my teeth, and went straight to the kitchen to make something tasty. There was a feeling in my gut that today would be great.
As I got the ingredients together, I could smell the fresh air through the open window. I was sure that the eggs and bacon I was cooking would taste great. I felt happy when I heard bacon cooking. I enjoyed the peace and quiet of the morning while I cooked. I loved having this time to myself before the day got busy. It was a brief moment of peace for me. As I was almost done with breakfast, I realized I had forgotten something very important: hot dogs. How could I have missed them? My nephew loved hot dogs, and he always looked forward to them when we had breakfast together. It was like he couldn't eat a meal without them. Being aware of how much he looked forward to them made me feel a little scared. I could already see the joy on his face as he saw them on the table. His favorite comfort food was hot dogs, and it didn't matter what else was on his plate as long as they were there. They were very important to him, and I didn't want to let him down. Before he came down, I knew I had to get them ready. What's wrong? Where are the hot dogs? Thinking to myself, I was a little stressed because I knew my nephew Stefan would be over for breakfast soon. I quickly looked all over the kitchen for them, hoping to find them before he got there. Stefan loved hot dogs more than anything else, and I didn't want to let him down. The idea of him coming downstairs with his favorite breakfast made me move even faster. I was about to give up when I heard a calm voice behind me. "What's making you so angry, Angel?" When I turned around, I saw Stefan standing there instead of my mom. As I had thought, the voice startled me for a second. His calm smile almost made me forget how scared I was. He seemed interested in what was making me so upset. Oh well, I stuttered and felt a little bad about it. "Stefan, don't be mad at me, but I forgot to make your favorite hot dogs." I lost my train of thought and guilt swept over me. I knew he would be upset, but I had to own up to my mistake. The way he answered that morning was strange. I saw Stefan smile in a way I had never seen him before for the first time. He looked serious most of the time, and only talked to me a little. I was surprised by his smile, which made the moment feel strange and nice at the same time. I felt like I saw a different side of him than I had expected. "Are you sure you don't need hot dogs?" I asked, still being scared. "Yes, you do like them." I kept having the thought that I had let him down and I needed to make sure he was okay with it. Stefan always made it clear when something wasn't right. He said in his usual calm voice, "Well, yes, I do like them. I know you meant to make them, but you forgot. Do you like hot dogs?" As he got closer, almost too close, and looked right into my eyes. His voice was strange. I didn't know what to think about that strange moment. I said, "Yeah, hot dogs are great for breakfast," but I couldn't explain why my heart was beating so fast. When Stefan started to act in a strange way, things started to feel off. I knew something in the air made me nervous, but I wasn't sure what it was. Something seemed different, maybe because of how Stefan was acting, or because of how strange everything was. Stefan put his hands on his pants and said, "Try this hot dog." I was surprised by his words and actions because they didn't make sense. I quickly replied, "But we don't have any hot dogs." This made me feel even worse, I said. I forgot to buy some at the market, and I was talking so fast that I almost tripped over my words. He didn't seem to mind, though, that there were no hot dogs. Something was off about the way he was acting, and I knew it was because his attention was elsewhere. He told me that's okay, but the way he looked at me made me feel bad. I didn't know what to say when his hands kept moving toward his pants. It was unsettling that something had changed in the air. Even though my heart was beating faster, I tried to stay calm. I spoke up to try to change the subject by suggesting that we have something different for breakfast.
What was he doing? I had no idea, and it made me feel both confused and worried. At the same time, Stefan looked at me while he played with his pants. He said in a soft voice, "It's not about the food." The tension in the room was clear. I didn't know how to handle the fact that something wasn't right. It felt like normal was getting farther away, but all I wanted was for things to go back to normal.
Stefan said, "Well, it's not the kind of hot dog you're thinking of." And his pants started to get bigger. My mind was full of confusion, which made my heart beat fast and made it hard for me to breathe. I stood there frozen, not understanding what was going on. It felt like something was wrong. I could see that his pants were wet because they kept getting tighter. I tried to take a step back, but my legs wouldn't move. Stefan didn't move and kept looking at me with that strange smile.
I had no idea what to say or do. "What's going on?" I told myself. The room felt heavy with thick air, and I was very uneasy. When I tried to speak, my throat got tight, and I couldn't get any words out. Stefan suddenly grabbed my shoulders and turned me around, as if he was going to show me something important. I was shocked, but at first, I didn't say anything. I kept going along with it all while trying to figure out what was going on. "Wait a minute," he said seriously.
"You are welcome to try this hot dog." His words didn't make sense to me, but I didn't move. I hoped that things would start to make sense soon. His package moved suddenly and slid into my buns so quickly that I didn't even have time to think about it. So my heart beat fast and a wave of wonder hit me. I finally found the words to say, "This isn't right, Stefan." I didn't understand what he was trying to do, or why he thought this was okay. Everything about it felt wrong, and I wanted to stop it before it got worse. Stefan didn't hear me, though, or he chose not to care what I said. It looked like nothing was wrong as he kept moving his package through my buns. I felt stuck in a strange dream that didn't make sense. As I stood there, I told Stefan again, "We need to stop this," hoping that this time he would hear me. But he kept going, and I felt stuck and didn't know what to do next. It seemed like nothing strange was going on, but Stefan told her to calm down. "You'll soon enjoy it." His package kept moving, and even though I was confused, I closed my eyes and felt a wave of pleasure that I hadn't expected. Then all of a sudden, he pulled his hands back and salivated on them. I didn't know why he did that, but I kept quiet again, because I still didn't fully understand what was going on. My mind was racing as I tried to figure out what was going on.
I wanted to move or speak, but I couldn't. "Let's go. Just stay still. You're going to love this," Stefan said again with a sure tone. It felt weird when his wet hands went through my buns. Before I could say anything, it happened. I wasn't sure if I should let him go on. "Oh no!" I yelled, and my voice echoed around the room. I had no idea why I was yelling. My body just seemed to change. My mind begged me to stop what I was doing, say something, and get Stefan to leave. I didn't know what to do next, so I stayed frozen. It made me want to stop this a lot, but I was also interested in where it might go. But soon my darker thoughts took over. I became angry when I noticed that he was moving more slowly. I don't slow down. I love it. I yelled again because I still didn't fully understand how I felt. I felt a wave of shame wash over me. Even though I didn't want to say it, I was enjoying what was going on, and I didn't want him to stop because he thought I wasn't. I could see the shock in Stefan's eyes as I spoke. It was clear that he didn't think I would answer this way. I knew my response made him feel weird, but I didn't care. I only wanted him to keep going because
That would keep making me feel excited. My heart was beating fast with a lot of different feelings. It was tough to believe I was feeling this way. I felt bad about what I did, but I couldn't stop myself. I wanted more. Stefan was unsure at first, but when he smiled, I knew that what I said had given him the courage to go on. As soon as he started moving again, I felt a rush of happiness. It felt good to say what I wanted for once, because I was having a strange feeling. I wished I could let go of my guilt and just enjoy the moment. As we went on, I became more and more immersed in the experience. The shame and worry slowly faded away, and I felt free. I felt like a weight had been taken off my shoulders. I stopped being held back by doubt or confusion and let myself fully enjoy the moment. Stefan smiled when he saw it. "Are you not having a great time with this?" he said with a bigger smile. The sound of his voice made the moment stronger, and I felt warm all over.
He asked, "Can I show you something even better?" with interest in his voice. He picked me up and carefully let his package slide back through my buns before waiting for me to answer. To me, it felt like an adventure that I hadn't planned, but was fully into. I could tell he really wanted to make me feel special. As he held me, it was almost like he was determined to show me something I had never seen or felt before. I felt alive and happy to be cared for in a way I hadn't thought possible at that very moment. I could picture myself in his arms, happy, warm, and safe. I didn't move much, but I felt like I was a part of something beautiful and important. I felt really important when Stefan paid attention to me, and I really didn't want him to stop. It was fun and different, and I wished it would last forever. It didn't matter how long it went on for, I just wanted it to keep going. So when he stopped talking all of a sudden, I was very upset. I was curious about why he had stopped and hoped he would start up again soon. I thought the moment was over, but then he said something that made me pay attention. He told them when it was going to come out. At first, I didn't understand what he meant, which made my heart race with interest. Why did he talk like that? Was it something different? As he spoke, I leaned in to hear what he had to say next. My mind was full of questions. He then said, "This is the hot dog I want you to try." "Of course, this is the one I meant." I blinked, shocked, and tried to figure out what he meant. I thought it was a weird idea, but something about what he said interested me. It got my imagination going, and I almost got excited, wondering if this was all part of a joke that would make our time together even more exciting. I was interested in what would happen next, and I was shocked when Stefan moved so quickly. Without thinking, he grabbed his red package and shoved it right into my mouth. I was shocked, because the package was so big that it almost pushed me over. It moved back and forth like it was trying to get away, making it look almost alive. When I realized how bad things were getting, my heart started beating fast, and I was too shocked to react or even think straight about what was happening in front of me. His package kept moving and writhing, which made me feel a strange mix of fear and interest. That thing looked so strong, like it was about to break free and cause chaos everywhere. I held my breath without realizing it because I was afraid my mouth wouldn't be able to handle it. I was scared when I saw his package struggling, but I couldn't help but feel a little excited about it all. I had never seen anything like this before, and I couldn't stop thinking about what could happen next. Stefan jumped up and down excitedly, yelling, "It's here! It's here!" He had his eyes shut tight, like he was ready for a surprise. As I thought about what was going to happen, my heart beat faster. I felt both interested and worried about him because of the way he was acting, and I could tell that whatever he was expecting was important. I was excited to see how everything turned out. Then, out of the blue, my mouth responded to the pulsing package by letting out a thick white liquid. It fell to the floor and formed small puddles that sparkled in the light. I had never tasted anything like the sweet liquid before, and I wanted more.
It was hard to believe that something so strange could be so enjoyable. I know it's true, but everything good has to end. I was a little sad when I realized the exciting part was over, but I was glad I had the chance to do it. Stefan looked so happy when he was done, like a huge weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Stefan didn't leave me alone for long while I tried to figure out what had happened. He came over and started to help me clean up the mess we had made. As we cleaned up the spilled liquid together, I felt a range of emotions, including shock, happiness, and some confusion about what had happened. Once everything was clean, Stefan walked over his smile, big and real. He said with a smile, "Don't be afraid to call me if you ever want a hot dog again." I blinked in surprise as I tried to understand what he said. I wanted to laugh at how serious he was about hot dogs, but after our usual adventure, I felt like I had a bond with him that I hadn't expected. While he was gone, I stood there in the kitchen, a little lost. I realized I still hadn't eaten breakfast. The day, which had seemed so normal at first, had turned into something crazy and unpredictable. Even so, I knew that I and my nephew had just shared a special moment. I smiled to myself as I thought about how much fun we had and how excited I was to see what would happen next.